It is almost midnight. And somewhere in a quiet hospital hallway, Tom is mopping the same floor he has mopped for the last 23 years. Same fluorescent buzz, same smell of industrial cleaner. A doctor walks past without looking up. A nurse laughs at something on her phone. Nobody notices Tom. Tom makes $19 an hour. He always has. He always will. And when Tom dies at the age of 92, hi-oh, his family will open a document that reveals he has left behind $8.1 million. No startup, no inheritance, no lottery ticket, no crypto moonshot, just a janitor. And a decision he made at age 22 that most people laugh at. Here's the thing. Tom's story isn't unique. There are dozens of people like him hidden in history. People who never made headlines. People whose neighbors thought they were broke. But today, we're going to break down exactly how Tom did it. The math, the mindset, and the one rule he never broke for 70 years. Because if you understand what Tom understood, you'll never look at your paycheck the same way again. Stay with me. This one will change how you think about money forever. Tom grew up in a small town in Vermont. His father was a factory worker. His mother cleaned houses. They weren't poor, but they weren't far from it either. Tom didn't go to college. He applied for a janitor position at a local hospital when he was 22. They gave him the job on a Tuesday. He started on a Wednesday. His first paycheck? $48. Now, here's where most people would say, okay, what's the investment hack? What stock did he buy? But that's the wrong question, because Tom didn't have a hack. What Tom had was a conversation. His uncle, a quiet, unimpressive man who worked at a post office, sat him down one evening and drew something on a napkin. He drew a curve. A slow, boring, almost flat curve that eventually turned into a near vertical line. Tom, his uncle said, this is what happens to money when you leave it alone long enough. Most people never believe it. Most people spend the money before the curve bends. Tom didn't fully understand it that night, but he never forgot that napkin. At 22 years old, Tom opened an investment account and put in $35, which was everything he had left after rent and groceries that month. $35. The banker looked at him like he was wasting his time. Tom set up an automatic transfer. Every single month, no matter what. $35 goes in. When his hours got cut, $35 went in. When his car broke down, he walked to work. $35 went in. When his daughter was born, $35 went in. When his wife got sick, $35 went in. His friends thought he was strange. Why lock up money you might need? Why not enjoy life now? Tom's answer was always the same. I'm not saving money. I'm buying time. Let that sink in for a second. He wasn't thinking about stocks. He wasn't thinking about interest rates. He was thinking about time. Because he understood one thing his friends didn't. Compounding doesn't reward intelligence. It rewards patience. Let's actually run the numbers, because this is where it gets unreal. Tom invested $35 a month starting at age 22. He put that money into a basic index fund, the kind that tracks the broad stock market. The S&P 500, over the long run, has returned an average of about 10% per year. Now, watch what happens. By age 32, 10 years in, Tom has about $7,100. Not impressive. His friends are buying new cars and taking vacations. By age 42, 20 years in, Tom has roughly $26,000. Still not exciting. Still mopping floors. By age 52, 30 years in, Tom has around $79,000. Now it's getting interesting, but still not $8 million. By age 62, 40 years in, Tom has approximately $217,000. By age 72, $575,000. By age 82, $1.5 million. And by age 92, when Tom passes away, $8.1 million. Now pause. Because something just happened in that graph that most people miss. Tom made the same $35 contribution every single month, but look at where the growth actually came from. In his first 30 years of investing, Tom contributed $12,600 of his own money. In the last 10 years alone, his account grew by over $6.5 million. He didn't earn that. He didn't work for it. He didn't even check on it most months. That money was created by previous money, making more money, making more money. making more money. That is compounding. And the only ingredient it asks for is time. If this is clicking for you, hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this video reach people who need to hear Tom's story. And subscribe if you haven't. We break down wealth-building concepts like this every single week in plain English. Now let's talk about the part of Tom's story that nobody talks about. 1974. The stock market has just crashed. His portfolio is down 40%. His neighbor pulls up in a brand new Pontiac. Leather seats. That new car smell floating out the window. "Tom, market's a mess, huh? I pulled everything out. No point bleeding money. Come take a look at this beauty." Tom goes home, sits at the kitchen table, opens his investment statement. The number is lower than last month, lower than 6 months ago. He picks up the phone. Does he call his broker to sell? No, he calls his bank to make sure the $35 transfer is still scheduled. It is. Tom puts the phone down, goes back to his dinner. That moment, that boring, invisible moment, is worth more than any hot stock tip you'll ever get. Because the single biggest destroyer of compounding isn't a market crash. It isn't inflation. It isn't even fees. It's panic. Every time someone pulls their money out during a downturn, they do two catastrophic things. They lock in their losses, and they miss the recovery. Tom never panicked. Not in 1974, not in 1987, not in 2001, not in 2008. Not once, because Tom didn't see his investment account as money. He saw it as a machine. And you don't turn off a machine because it had a bad week. Tom wasn't cheap, but he was intentional. He bought a modest house and paid it off. He drove second-hand cars. He cooked at home most nights. His vacations were camping trips, not cruises. But he also raised 2 kids, attended every school play, and never missed a family dinner. Tom wasn't suffering. Tom had made a trade. He traded the appearance of wealth for the reality of it. Most people do the opposite. They buy the things that make them look rich: the watch, the car, the trips posted on social media. And they wonder why they're broke at 65 with nothing but credit card debt and memories. Tom understood something called the gap. Wealth isn't how much you earn. Wealth is the gap between what you earn and what you spend, multiplied by time. Tom earned modest money his whole life. But his gap? His gap was consistent. Every month, without fail, that gap went to work for him. And over 70 years, that gap turned into $8 million. Now, let me be clear about something. Tom wasn't a stock picker. He wasn't reading financial reports. He wasn't on Reddit at 2 a.m. looking at charts. Tom bought into a diversified index fund, something that essentially said, "I'm going to own a small piece of every major company in America. When they grow, I grow. No picking winners, no timing the market, no stress." He increased his monthly contribution a few times over the decades as his salary grew, going from $35 to eventually around $200 a month in his later working years. But the foundation? $35 a month. For decades. In boring, unsexy index funds. That's it. That's the whole strategy. If you're wondering how to actually start doing what Tom did, we have a video on exactly how to set up your first index fund in under 15 minutes, linked right at the end of this video. Completely beginner-friendly. Check it out after this. Tom never got a promotion that changed his life. He never built a company. He never got lucky. He got consistent. And consistency, given enough time, produces results that look like miracles to anyone who didn't see the process. When his family found those documents after he passed, the lawyers, the financial advisors, even Tom's own children were stunned. His daughter later said, "We knew Dad was careful with money. We had no idea he had built something like that. He never talked about it. He just did it. He just did it. No noise, no bragging, no obsessing over markets. Just $35 a month, a boring index fund, and 70 years of leaving it alone." His uncle drew that curve on a napkin in 1952. Tom spent 70 years living inside it. The question isn't whether this works. The math is not debatable. Compounding is not an opinion, it is arithmetic. The question is, will you believe it before the curve bends, or after? Because most people spend their entire lives waiting for a sign that the boring path is worth it. Tom is the sign. If Tom's story hit different, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. A young sibling, A friend who thinks investing is only for rich people. Anyone who's ever said, "I don't make enough to invest." The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today. I'll see you in the next one.